Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome to Web3 Warriors, episode 52. Talking to Kush Nubia, creator of the Creative Hearts Project, also a DJ and a digital artist, crypto enthusiast, and a radio host. Welcome, Kush. How you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. How are you, David?
Awesome. I'm doing good. Doing good. I'm looking forward to this conversation and really learning more about your inspiring project here. We had a cool conversation yesterday with the Dream Conduit looking at NFTs for social good and how Web3 can really make an impact at the community level. So we're going to kind of continue that, but really focus in on what you're doing here. So welcome everybody again to Web3 Warriors. I am David Karoma. I go by Chrome in the metaverse, and I'm really excited about this conversation. Today we're going to be looking at kind of how Web3 can help community and really how the technology can create opportunities for especially youth that need new opportunities and need kind of a new kind of vision to what's possible. You know, I think the old played out story limitations that have been placed on a lot of children, unfortunately, and especially those in kind of disadvantaged areas who feel like, you know, their options are very limited. The metaverse and Web3 and really this whole new technology, this new digital renaissance that we are taking part in can really just blow the doors off of those limitations and show them, you know, what was already the case, which is that they're full of infinite potential and that there's so much that can be done. But now we've got the metaverse and we've got this whole new kind of digital landscape where that can be done and where your creativity can really shine and be kind of created into something that creates revenue for yourself, for your family. You know, we've spoken about the Afro Droids project, for example, that did a really good job fundraising for a women's school in Nigeria and has since continued to support that school, and they seem to be doing really great things. We spoke to Kofi in Ghana, whose sale of his 3D African masks have led to enough revenue for him to help support a school for technology in Ghana and, you know, creating new computer labs and creating new opportunities for children there. So today we're going to talk to Kush Nubia and really learn about this Creative Hearts project that he's been working on diligently. You know, we both cross paths a lot in the NFT community over in Clubhouse, a few different NFT communities, really. So I'm always inspired when I hear from him, and I'm really grateful that he was able to join us here on the show today. So yeah, we're looking at NFTs for social good. We're looking at corners of the world where maybe the Web3 and NFT craze never really hit, but now they can take advantage of the technology, especially during this time when maybe all of the hype around getting rich quick and around, you know, being able to make quick flips has kind of died down. And now we can look at, you know, what does the technology actually offer and how can it make your life better? How can it create new opportunities for you and your children? And what's the best way to help children onboard into this space? As we know, there are security risks. There are any risks that come with being on the internet, right? So it's something to consider as well. So really looking forward to this conversation. Thank you again, Kush, for joining us. Maybe before we dive into your Creative Hearts project and really what you're trying to do on the ground, can you give us a little bit of background about yourself and what brings you to Web3?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Kush Nubia, but I also want to say that I have the AKA as I am Nubio,
Cool.
just so that if you do see posts from I am Nubio, you know it's me and not some random filler. And there is a bit of a story behind that. As I said, I do DJ and produce music, and when I first started doing this, my music was kind of influenced from the Latin community, and I did a show in Cuba, and when I was telling them my name, because it has an A on the end, usually with a guy, it's an O. So just to kind of make it clear, I came with the other pseudonym of I am Nubio, and I've been using that as my Web3 moniker as far as when I post my art and things of that nature.
Nice,
So
nice. I am
um,
Nubio, and that's your Twitter handle as well, right?
yeah, it's all my handles actually. So you'll
Cool.
see that if you see Kush Nubia, you'll see at I am Nubio as a Twitter or profile, usually in my Web3 spaces.
Man of many names.
Um, I
Or
just
at
wanted to
least
make the
two.
correlation. So yeah, I just wanted to make the correlation. But more about myself. Yeah, so I've been doing DJing and producing for about 8 years, and I've had a radio show for about six. I have a radio show that airs weekly on iLive Radio, and it's focused on more like polyrhythmic sounds, Afro sounds, merging and bridging those communities between the Caribbean community, African community, Latin community, focusing on music like Afrobeat, Amapiano, bashment, and it's a 2 hour show. I play a lot of independent music, so if there's artists out there who kind of fall into those areas, please do send me your music to rososhow@gmail.com. It's on all my profiles as well. And we play your music and support indie artists. It also registers, so you do get the royalty registration as well. And yeah, I've been doing that. It's been a lot of fun. And I'm stationed here in Canada. I'm in Toronto. Been living here for most of my life. Well, all my
Yeah,
life in
fellow
Canada.
Canadian. You're my neighbor. I'm in Manitoba. You're in Ontario. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good to hear. We have a thriving artist community. As you know, we have Drake and Weekend and some others, but there's a lot of great artists here. So I want to plug into that and be able to show that in the radio show and with collaborations with artists that I work with in the Greater Toronto area.
Yeah, it's really cool. I saw your portfolio included a little video of your DJ set, so I was just kind of showing that a few seconds of that on the screen here. But it's very cool. You're all about the vibes, man. So, how did that kind of transition you into NFTs and Web3, and what was that journey like, kind of into the Web3
Yeah,
space?
well, I first started learning about crypto way back. This is 2013 time, and Bitcoin was kind of bubbling. I never jumped into it then. Started hearing about it later on, about like 2 years ago, and started to think, okay, maybe this is something I should get involved in. And then the same person that kind of introduced it to me started saying that, did you know that you can do art and music on the blockchain? And then I was what does that mean? And then so I started looking into that some more and seeing that it's really a good independent movement, and for people to kind of take control of their content as artists putting out music and putting music on these streaming platforms. You get very little for the streams that you do get. So seeing that it was a way to be more one to one with the following that you build up, I thought was a great way of building up another avenue to be able to put out content. So then that's what brought me to Clubhouse really was music and crypto. And then I started plugging into the different communities like you mentioned before and then started learning. So I would say
Nice.
about 2 years now, I've been in the crypto space, going pretty hard in there. Really digging into the metaverse space because I see that's a lot of potential there for artists to engage with their following and put out more artistic content with music and live presentations. So it's pretty exciting.
Most definitely, yeah. It's exciting new frontier. Have you dabbled with like Emanate or Sound.xyz yet, and any of those kind of Web3 music platforms?
I haven't. I've been just doing my first works. I've been put on Tezos, and I'm looking to put some more directly on ETH. I'm looking at some other ways of potentially putting music out there where a listener can kind of download it and edit it and kind of make their own edits from that
Mm.
and in a unique way.
Yeah, I think I heard
So,
Hakeem
but
Draper's kind of doing something like that right now with some stems,
yeah,
I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, and Bai is doing something like that with
Right.
edit
His
tracks.
whole
So just kind
his
of
whole
looking at.
platform there. I gotta try to get by you on here too. I'm really curious about edit tracks. I'm not a super music guy,
Mhm.
but it definitely seems like he's got a pretty cool angle he's taking on there. Like I love listening
Yeah,
to music, I just don't create music is what I meant.
definitely 100. I hear you.
Yeah.
And so I've been looking at some of those because these would allow me to do and work with the cryptocurrency directly without having to work with a middle token or anything like that. So I'm just a little bit leery. I don't want to flood anybody's project or anything like that. I'm just for me personally, I I want to work with the cryptos directly.
Hmm.
So if there's something where I had to use a middle token, I kind of steered away from that just for my own personal
Right.
journey.
Or the custodial wallet as well, right? Where, you don't have it just directly into your own wallet sometimes. Some of these platforms,
Yeah,
they hold your revenue in their own little custodial wallet. And then when you want to send it into your own personal wallet, there's a extra fee or, some kind of gas charges or whatever the case may be. But, the space is evolving. It's growing. I think those are some growing pains for sure. Really cool, yeah. So definitely music and art combined with what's possible in Web3 has kind of pulled you in. So definitely share a little bit about the Creative Hearts project. So what's kind of the next steps, or where are you at right now with it? How did you get to here? Where did the idea come from? Yeah, I'd love to just hear kind of the background of the project first, maybe what inspired it.
Yes. Yeah, so again, going back to what you said about NFTs for good, coming in and plugging into some of these communities and seeing where we could do something like that and where it was actually viable for people to come together, maybe put up art for auction or do something, a community initiative, um, to do something good. So before I came into the NFT space, I was connected to the Montwater Alumni Association, which is an association here in Canada in Toronto, which is connected to a primary school in Jamaica. And there's other primary schools have alumni associations here as well. Um, the one I'm connected to, I personally had family members who attended that school as children, and there's a number of us here who have that same experience as well. So, we're just kind of plugged in
So like
that
your
way.
parents would have gone there then, or
Yeah, my dad went to that school,
nice? That's awesome, man.
and so when they came to Canada, the school eventually, over time, needed repairs and things like that. So a bunch of the alumni came together and decided to put together this organization to build and raise money to to renovate the school and to develop some programs there. So so this alumni organization has been running for maybe about 10 years or so, and they've had some other fundraising initiatives that they've done over the years, like having a dinner and art auctions and different things like that, live events to raise money. But now they want to, of course, look at new ways and exciting ways to kind of see where we can keep people engaged. And so I brought to the community this initiative, and we started talking about how we could use NFTs for good in this way. And we came to a lot of different ideas and bounced some different ideas around. And finally landed on developing an NFT with utilities that could be presented to the public for those who may not be in Web3 already, and provide them utility to help onboard them, educate them, and bring some growth to their financial literacy on Web2 and Web3.
Nice.
And so, in that way, we developed a approach to raise $10,000 in hopes that you would see value in the NFT that we purchase, and also see value in wanting to raise funds for the school.
Hmm.
The funds would be used for three pillars. One would be a lunch program. So we would make sure that there would be lunch and everything like that.
Are they having problems with that
There
right
was a
now?
chef. Well, there'd be a chef, like a cook or something to help facilitate meals
Mm,
at the school. And because some of them, as you know, it's a developing country, not all children get a square meal in the
right.
day.
Mm.
We even have that in North America too, where we have
Yeah, exactly. No
breakfast or
kidding.
something
Yeah,
like that.
for
Yeah, yeah,
real.
yeah. So it's the same kind of thing.
Mm,
So facilitate that program. Also, a scholarship program where they get some funds to help them with different experiences, have them exposed to different experiences, and be able to get some additional education. And then third is a new one that we've developed, which is a Web3 syllabus, and this is education in the Web3 space with learning how to do art in this space.
wow.
This syllabus was developed by Nadine, aka Panda,
Nice.
who's very trusted in our community and part of um, a few DAOs. I would say the Dream Conduit was the main DAO. I have to shout out them because there's quite a few members from that
Yes, fellow
community.
Dream Conduit
Oh,
member. Big fan of Nadine.
yeah,
Yes, she helps keep us organized.
yeah. I got to give a big shout out also to Forte.
For sure.
She was also a big help as well, and I got to with doing some of the voiceover work for the video that you see on the website, and giving insight on narrations, and the scope and approach on how videos should be done, and the wording and everything like that. So very detailed work around that. Soma, I got to give a shout out too, because she's helping with the promotions, flyers, and the material that you'll see coming down the pipe. I also want to shout out Accurate, it's helping with the editing of the videos that you'll see as well. And I gotta shout out Leanna, who was really instrumental in making a lot of contacts and coming up with some of the key strategies
That's amazing, man. I
that
love
we,
it. I love hearing all those names
yeah.
from the
So
community. That's what's up. And we're gonna have Ingrid on the show next week, actually. So we're looking forward to talking about her project too. But yeah,
yeah, so
very, very
it's
cool.
really come into becoming a community project versus just being my project. It really has developed into the community really putting time and brain power into making this something that can be a success. And then hopefully our plan is if this is successful, then we can be kind of do an uplift like a cookie cut and be able to do it for another school or somewhere else in another country.
Yeah, it's
So
very cool.
we
I love the family connection. I love the history there, right, and the Canadian connection. Because I've heard, like, my dad's from Sierra Leone. We have a handful of associations that have been created by that community here for similar reasons, trying to send money back
mm,
home, support a specific school, a specific political party, maybe. But yeah, I'm familiar with that kind of framework. So it's a very cool kind of origin story. So looking at the NFT side of it, and I don't know that the NFT really would need to offer too much utility per se, but with that, how do you foresee the NFT side of that project going? Like, I think that the NFT, maybe it has some cool art, right? That's related to the project, but just buying the NFT, knowing that it's supporting the school is probably enough. But what have you thought of doing with the NFT beyond that?
well, we extended it out again to the community. And this gives them because I'm about the independence and developing. That's why we're all here, kind of in Web3. So we reached out and made some strategic partnerships with other members of the community. And well, I can mention now because we firmed up the agreement with Texaco, so they'll be adding some utility in the way of workshops to help with, I said before, with the onboarding and familiarizing people with the Web3, getting people familiarized and bring more people into the community, online training, um, and also a platform for artists where they can actually start putting up music on the blockchain and start developing. And that's I gotta give a big shout out to Techno King for kind of being okay and trusting in the vision. And I think this is a way for them also to grow their brand. Right now, we're also speaking with, we haven't confirmed up this, but hopefully it goes well. And I'll mention the name anyway. The Raw DAO, it's another DAO. They do a lot of things in the metaverse.
Nice.
And yeah, we're hoping to form a partnership with them to actually introduce people to that side of Web3 and all the different things that you can do there and develop in that space. And then through my initiative with Multisymbol Music and Art, we'll be holding space in Metaverse as well. And so specifically in Spatial.io, we'll be showing paid videos that will help with elevating financial literacy in Web 2 and Web 3 by leading prominent people in the financial space. So that's the utilities that come with it. I think those
Nice.
ones were key ones. I think those would be benefit to everyone who's entering into this space, especially seeing where you might be interested to see where you can build up in your nest egg. Um, I even have to watch more of those videos myself, to be honest. So we'll all be sharing the knowledge at the
Yeah, I think
same
we could
time.
all learn a little bit from that.
So So yeah, the NFT, but the more about the project, if you don't like the NFT, you don't like the art, you don't like any of the utilities, but you still want to donate, you can still donate. We have Giveth.io um, campaign set up, and if you don't like that as well, and you want to just give through cash, we have our GoFundMe set up as well, and you'll see it's through AJAA. I have to mention AJAA because they are the parent charity organization for all the nonprofit alumni associations I mentioned earlier, and they are registered with the Canadian government. So everything's above board and transparent. You can see
Oh,
everything that's
interesting.
going on with the project. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
that
when
would
you
be
go to
like a
GoFundMe,
Jamaican association in Canada, essentially, kind of umbrella association.
yes, an umbrella association, it is registered to the government of Canada, federal government of Canada, as a legitimate charity. So you will see it. as the association, if you go to GoFundMe, you will see it as their logo there associated with this, because we had to go through them to get the agreement and the approval to be able to do that, because we wanted to make sure that it was associated with um, all the legal entities, so that you do get your tax receipt, and it's a legitimate tax receipt. So if you go to the Giveth path or the GoFundMe path, a donation of $50 would get you the tax receipt that you can use for your tax
So
deductions.
$50 or more for tax receipt. And what were the URLs
Yes.
again there you mentioned to donate? We definitely would love to drive some people that
Well,
way.
the website, yeah, the website is going to be it's going to be live next week, probably by Thursday. So it's going to be securemountward.com. So it's securemtward.com. And when
Okay.
you go there, you'll see everything. You'll see the links, and everything will be there for you. It's clearly spelled out. There's some FAQs there, so you know what web browsers to use, how to set up your avatar, how to set up your MetaMask wallet. Yeah, I want to also mention that we're going to be using a manifold contract. That manifold contract will be posted on OpenSea. That's where the NFT will be housed. So on OpenSea, you can also purchase with Visa, and we left instructions on how to transfer
Interesting. So
your
you're
purchase from
using
Visa to your MetaMask.
right. So you're using a manifold contract to mint it direct to OpenSea, and then people can buy it from OpenSea, kind of thing. Like it's not like they have to go to manifold and claim it.
No, you can go to OpenSea
Cool.
on the profile.
And I'm
Yeah.
guessing then you're sticking with the standard Ethereum mainnet for the blockchain that the NFTs are built on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And so you've already kind of talked about the metaverse angle. That was kind of my question. Are you foreseeing like entertainment in the metaverse? Do you think maybe a situation where you got your DJ set, you got a few other awesome musicians in the space that we know of course, maybe a little bit of an event where if you hold one of these tokens, maybe you get a free wearable or you get access to like a certain corner of the event? I don't know. What do you think?
So the organization is very interested in doing future online events.
Hmm,
We didn't include that in this round of utilities, and we're thinking of perhaps another key for something for actual online events. We want to give enough time to plan it out properly, because it's going to be online. We want to make sure that we plan out the camera angles and everything to give a really good presentation
right.
online. And yeah, and then look at some artists that we can independent artists and some known artists, or like kind of up and coming that you would know, or has made some noise here in the city, and present
Nice.
them out to the world.
Nice. Yeah, Toronto's got a booming music space, and art space, frankly. So you're in a good city, especially as far as Canada goes. It's between that or
Mhm.
Vancouver, I think, for the best art space. And I think Vancouver's probably leading the pack as far as Web3, but Ethereum is from Toronto, I guess. So maybe not. I know Toronto's got a lot of blockchain community going down there as well. How do you find kind of the IRL side of the blockchain community and the Web3 community in Toronto there? Have you been connecting much, or just really focused with the
Yeah,
digital space and the communities on Clubhouse and Twitter?
I have to plug in. I have to plug in a bit more, to be honest. I've been just kind of plugged in here, just learning and things of that nature. But I'll say that there's a Goat NFT, there's a gallery, digital gallery. They're putting on a lot of events, and I do have my plan is to connect in and see, what might be possible in the IRL space. And also, I know there's a digital space also in Ottawa.
Hmm.
There's a gallery there, and I believe there's one in Montreal as well. I'm yet to plug into those ones, but I'll be plugging into the one here in the city very shortly.
Nice, nice. That's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely keep us posted. I'm trying to get to the Toronto Blockchain Summit this summer, so we'll see.
Yeah,
Definitely want to be in Toronto at some point this year, so maybe we'll be able to connect when I get out there. That would be cool.
great. The
Um,
summits
so
are pretty pricey, so yeah, they
yeah,
looked awesome. But the last year was pretty pricey. I was too late getting a ticket, so I think hopefully this year I'll be a little early enough to get a
you get the
good
early
price on the
bird; it's a
ticket.
little cheaper, right?
Yeah,
If you know the right
quite a
people,
bit.
maybe you can get a discount.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
better yet, you get a speaking position. You can go talk about your creative hearts project. so,
Yeah, hopefully.
So you mentioned that Techno King is kind of helping with the dev side of things, and then on the art, are you kind of creating these logos for the art? Is it going to be like right now we have the main Creative Hearts PFP kind of logo? Is that going to be the art that's on the NFTs, or is it going to be like
Yeah.
all? What's the art
So I
looking
worked
like?
with a
And is it differentiated, or is it going to be like an 1155 token where it's just like 1,000 versions of the same thing?
so we're only gonna have we're only thinking of minting 200 items.
200. Okay.
Uh,
Cool.
yeah, at the price that we mentioned, that if we sell all 200, we meet our goal. And builds a bit of exclusivity as well. The artwork was commissioned. I work with an artist, Alfonso's, and then I took that piece of artwork and I turned it into something called the Knowledge Key NFT. So
Hmm.
the Secure Mount Ward Knowledge Key NFT, and that is a 3D key. And yeah, you'll see when you see the NFT, it's a gold key with the head of the key with the design of the logo that you
Uh,
have there.
Nice, nice. I dig it. I dig it. I
Yeah, it's pretty
considering all
intricate.
the
So
yeah, all the names you've already mentioned kind of being part of the project, and considering the thoughts towards the metaverse, and I can just picture these kids like really loving the idea of the metaverse, and maybe even being able to like have an event in the metaverse where you thank everyone, and you just like an event for the Creative Arts Project, and you get the kids in there, you get the buyers in there. That would be a really cool kind of community event. So
yes,
I think it's just like
yep,
exciting to think about what the possibilities are, because it's not just you; it's a whole team of very creative, kind of Web3 natives, you could say, who I think
hmm
will have fun with it, right?
yeah. So the plan is definitely. I'm glad you mentioned that. Is sustainability. So
Mm,
when we do teach the students the art, the plan is to then have them create the artwork and then be able to put that artwork on chain for then a future fundraising initiative, and then be able to kind of repeat the process so it becomes self-sustaining.
that's amazing. That's what's
And
up. And sustainability is a recurring theme we're getting on this show, and I'm glad because it's such an important part of what Web3 can do for humanity, really. And just yeah, that's really cool. So how is the sustainability side kind of being taught through your onboarding process, do you think, or has that been kind of factored into the syllabus?
well, we factored it into the syllabus. Nadine is very thorough, as you know, and so yeah, I we've gone through that, and so it's a clear. I don't want to get it. It's a very detailed, intricate syllabus to bring them up to where they need to be for their age level. We were very attentive to content and what age groups that we're dealing with because it's a primary school.
Right.
So the sustainability aspect is really in being able to create the art and then be able to put that art up for sale, and then that going back into the organization and foundation to be able to sustain those three pillars that I mentioned before, which is the scholarship program, the lunch program, and the Web3
Yeah,
program.
that's ambitious program, man. So lunch scholarship, Web3. I know you were mentioning in the pitch as well there that part of it is also providing the tech. You were saying, I think, was it iPads or some
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
laptops or
yeah.
something
So
that you're hoping to be able to source?
we did source and we reached out to Digicel, which is the digital carrier in Jamaica.
Hmm.
And so through some negotiation, we were able to get 1 to 10 devices, or at least data plans. And those data plans will allow us to be able to connect to the Web3 platforms and the different tools that are available to be able to teach the kids. And those devices will stay at the school; they won't be signed up, and we'll have those data plans in place for, I guess, the 12 months that they run.
Hmm.
And then when we do the renewal and we do the fundraising again, it'll be a much lower ask again for the community, and then we'll be able to offer those sustainability and some other utilities and things like that to
Right. And even
keep it
without the
interesting and
without
keep
the
it going
cellular
forward.
service, you'd be okay, right? It's still a good tool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Um, Yeah, no, that's really exciting. So looking at like that kind of onboarding conversation, right? And I feel like it gets sensitive, especially with children, and being that for one, there's the kind of financial literacy side of it, as well as financial security in this new Web3 space, right? So what do you think is kind of the right way? I know you're being thorough about the syllabus, and maybe we need Nadine on here to answer this more thoroughly. But from your perspective, what is the kind of right way, safest way to onboard youth specifically?
Well, definitely want to take into con consideration the initial setup of the devices and like content limitations and things of that nature, so it's age appropriate. So that's right off the top. And then looking at the tools that we're going to introduce them to as well. Like we want to keep some of the traditional aspects in there, drawing pencil to paper
Right.
and converting that into digital, without going too crazy into AI per se, but
Mm,
still teaching them some of that, where we use something like Wombo, which is local, right?
right.
And we can kind of um, oversee how it's being used versus going off into something wild where you're seeing a whole bunch of different images coming back at you. It's going to be more contained and controlled by using an application like that.
So just being a little
So
bit
those are
more
kind of,
intentional and limited in
yeah,
the scope, maybe.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of an example. I was just trying to give you an example, but that's kind of the way we're looking to approach it, um,
And what
by sprinkling it into the syllabus.
Yeah, and what do you think about the concept of gamifying and like the whole, youth are already into, well, not all youth, that's a big stereotype, but a lot of youth are into video games and into
Yeah.
running around in the digital space already. So it may be gamifying it, or kind of adding this like, well, you got wearables in Fortnite or Minecraft. What about if you actually own that and could sell it for real world money? Like that kind of angle. Do you feel like that is impactful? Are you planning to kind of take any gamified kind of angle towards it?
Yeah, I reached out to Spatial and Ready Player Me as far as being able to get a connection with the project and the brand and the logo that you see there. I think it would be cool if we could bring the kids into Spatial for some of the education, but also, well, in Jamaica, you wear school uniforms. So it'd be cool to have kind of a uniform or a logo piece that was associated with the program that they could put on their avatar. So that
Nice.
kind of thing I think would be
Yeah, you
cool to do,
provided.
but I mean, you have to have those partnerships in place.
That's what it's all about. You provided some cute pictures I'm showing on the screen here, talking about their uniforms. They got their khaki, khaki pants and button
Yeah,
ups. The boys
yeah,
here,
exactly.
and the girls in their
Yeah,
navy dresses. Very cool, man. Like it's just, I love the concept of really impacting these young minds at the grassroots level. It's really exciting. So yeah, maybe a future where they could actually have their school uniforms brought into the metaverse and like have a whole classroom built for them in the metaverse. Frankly.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. I
Exactly.
remember, yeah, it's been a conversation that's been kind of recurring, like the metaverse and school in the metaverse, for so many reasons, right? Especially during COVID, obviously, when people couldn't even go to class and there was like just this remote opportunity. But I think that when you take that concept and apply it to learning about Web3, having that syllabus activated in the metaverse where all those children from Mount Ward Primary School can jump into the classroom in the metaverse, and Nadine's there sitting in California or wherever she may be in the world at the time, and helping to
Yeah,
lead a class, right? That's just super
exactly.
exciting. Yeah. Wow. And
Yeah.
do you see a situation where the community of people that purchased this NFT to support your initiative are kind of growing with the project? Like it's an ongoing thing, or are you going to kind of
Ab- ab-
reset
ab-
it year to year?
ab- Absolutely. So, I mean, the utilities last for 12 months. So, yeah, that's a reset. But more importantly is the validation. If we are able to raise enough funds and Panda's able to go on site, then, we're going to have pictures and videos to validate that we did what we said, that the money went where it went and they got the equipment and they're being taught like we said and everything like that. So just to keep a high level of transparency to the project. And so, yes, that will be on the website. There will be another page added so that you can see the progress. keep
That's awesome. Yeah.
seeing
No, I
them
can see it
go.
going to
And there's
big
also
places, man. And I love that you've done that important groundwork of, like, connecting with an actual nonprofit association with the Jamaica Association umbrella. You're doing all the legwork within the community. You got Techno King, you got a bunch of very well-known, Web3 supporters, and people who know what they're doing and are genuine about it, and not just in it for the money or the quick flip or anything like that. But then also, Raw DAO, some of these bigger DAOs that are established that are giving out money for community initiatives like this. We got ETH Denver coming up next week, right? So who knows, maybe somehow this project can be brought up there. And there's a lot of funders, a lot of people that probably would love to see a project like this succeed, right? Because these kind of projects are bragging rights for Ethereum if they can have a proof of concept, right, and kind of point to, like, this is an example of how NFTs and Web3 is really changing the game and helping children in these kind of disadvantaged or even just struggling school systems.
yeah. Oh yeah, if anyone's listening, please spread the word. Everything you mentioned there would be awesome if it was to materialize. So I'm definitely open to any of that happening.
Yeah,
Yeah, and if you're out there, or if anybody's out there and they want to make mention of the project, or if you need any kind of content from me to help you do that, please just reach out. Also, I want to mention there is a house, so I will be posting things in the house and pictures and stuff and developments if you join the house on Clubhouse. Yeah,
that's what's up. And the house on Clubhouse, what's it called? Creative Hearts Project?
it's called Multisymbol Music and Heart, and you'll see. Sorry, it's called Multisymbol Music and Arts House, and you'll see the logo, the WM. It's a black and white logo. Um, as the PTR logo.
Cool, cool, cool.
And in the description you'll see that it says that this is the home of the project.
Home of the Creative Hearts Project. So it sounds like you've got a little bit of buy-in, even from governments, right? Have you gotten that? Have you done any outreach either in Canada here or in the Jamaican any layer of government?
No, I haven't reached out to
No.
the government
Okay.
layers at all. It's just with trying to keep the level of transparency. Wanted to make sure that we're working with a government registered charity.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I was just curious, I just feel like these are the kind of projects that can really make politicians take a second look, and, like, realize what blockchain really is and what Web3 really is and what NFTs really are, but maybe wait until it's a success and then point to it and shine the light on it for them. But I was just curious what you thought, from a government or regulatory perspective, if, you don't have any concerns, or if you had heard anything as far as feedback or concerns from either the school or any of the associations you're working with.
No, so as I said, well, what Mount Word Association is fully bought in, and then we had to go through AJAA with the parent charity organization and have those meetings and get the approvals. We got the approval from them. So once we got that, we were pretty much off to the races, and we met with Mrs. Chambers, who is the principal of the school, and passed by her the program and the syllabus program, and she's a go with it. So as far as I know, everything's good to go. As
Awesome.
far as the support, I haven't really heard anything as far as it not being accepted.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I just was curious from a regulatory perspective, because it really seems like you've really done the legwork and dotted your I's, crossed your T's, and have seen a very clear opportunity to line up with associations that are actually focused on making a real impact. So that was securemountward.com, mtward.com, and that's going to be live on Thursday. And so you mentioned there's fiat kind of standard ways to donate and help as well, and all of that's going to be available on that website, the kind of different options for supporting the
Yes.
project. Nice.
Yeah, it'll be 3 different options. The NFT, the giveth.io, which is direct crypto, and then GoFundMe for fiat or just
GoFundMe.
regular cash. Yeah.
And do you see either for the giveth.io, is that GIVETH?
Yeah.
Okay, .io. I'm not even familiar with that one. I'll have to check that out. That's pretty cool. So it's just straight crypto donations. And do you see, like, either through GoFundMe or through crypto, where if they make those kind of donations, you still provide any kind of on-chain acknowledgement, or only the NFT will kind of be that?
Yeah. Oh no, only as far as you mean. So if you're talking about the receipt, the tax receipt you'll get from the giveth.io and the GoFundMe, and then for the utilities you'll have to get the key.
Yeah, you have
So
to
if
get
you
the
want,
main key
like with,
NFT. Yeah, no,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just thought
yeah,
maybe like you make a donation, kind of like what Dream Conduit's trying to do, right? Where you make a $25 donation and you get acknowledged, even if you make the donation in fiat, as long as we have your wallet on file, you'll get the collectible to your wallet kind of thing. So I just thought maybe, but no, I think it's good to keep the only token connected to that main key, right? And then have that as the kind of real special access limited edition.
yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. That's awesome, man. So I did want to ask you before we wrap, but I would love to hear about any other projects you have going on. I did jump into this spatial room that you had created as well, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I just want to give you the opportunity to speak about any other kind of plans you have going on in Web3 outside of the Creative Hearts project and what you're doing in the
Oh,
space
yeah.
on a week-to-week basis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. So yeah, I do have some spaces on Spatial. I have a Thursday night meetup at 6 p.m. where you watch music documentaries. The last one we watched was Buffy Saint Marie, which I learned a lot about her. She's
Yeah, I
a
wanted to make
Canadian
it out
icon,
there too,
actually.
man. Thursday
Oh
nights are a
man, you
little
gotta
tough
watch
for
it.
me,
You
but I
gotta
got to try to get
uh,
there.
still spin around and watch it, man. It's a great watch, a great watch.
Nice.
So I do that on Thursdays, just to, keep inspired, life lessons, and just if you're a music lover, just come through. That's on Spatial. On Sundays, I do an NFT 101 room for the Music No Egos Club on Clubhouse. And then for projects I'm working on, I haven't quite named it yet, but it'll be a music NFT project in 3D images, kind of touching back on, I would say, African Caribbean spiritualism. The tunes were going to be like Afrocentric, kind of used to what I'm doing, kind of in the Amapiano, Afrobeat kind of space. But I'm trying to kind of do something a bit new sound, kind of like Afro-funk type of stuff. But
Nice.
so that's going to be coming out. I'm thinking of putting it out as a single by single, and then putting in the NFT space first, single by single, and NFT by NFT, and then releasing it as an EP in the Web2 space.
That's awesome. And do
Been
you
talking
think
to some.
would you go through like sound.xyz or anything to do that, or you're just going to go straight manifold, like drop it as an audio file?
Right now, it's looking like maybe Manifold, but I'm also thinking of the D app option, and then as I mentioned too, there's like the edit tracks possibilities. So I'm just kind of looking at the options right now
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
just making up the content and stuff and see what best works and who has time, because everyone's kind of busy too. So some of the options take a bit of a development. So kind of
Yeah.
having to work myself into the schedules as well.
Everybody's busy in Web3, we're all plugging away on something. Very cool. I have noticed that you kind of messing with those GANs a little bit as well, too. I saw your object.com kind of, you got a few different collections, but I like the GANs and Glitch collection. What are your thoughts on GAN art and
Well, I think
what
it's
led you in
cool.
there?
I thought it was just another interesting way to draw, and I was impressed with what I got back. So the reason what kept me going was I was impressed with what I got back. So I just kind of got bit by the bug to start doing a bit more. I haven't done much recently, but there'll be some new pieces coming up in a showing that Searchlight is doing for called Metaverse. So I have two pieces in that, and that'll be coming. I believe it's the 28th of February. Um,
Nice.
and so you'll be able to see some of the works in there. If you are looking at object, it's the two pieces called the Duel. Those ones got picked up for that exhibition. Searchlight's been pretty good with my work. This is my second exhibition with them, so
Wow.
pretty happy with that.
Nice. And
So
now this
just
one's just
trying to
going to
keep
be in the
pushing forward.
metaverse, you said?
Yeah, they're gonna put this one in voxels, I believe. The last one they had in spatials, I believe this one's gonna be in voxels.
Nice. Nice. That's cool. Definitely let us know when that's live. That sounds really dope. You got a lot of cool combination. You got some digital art. You got photo digital art in here. What inspired some of these photos? Is this you in the sanctify piece, standing in the water?
Sanctified. Yes, that is me.
Very
Um,
cool.
Thanks. Yeah, I want to be doing a series, or will be doing and adding to that a series of black and whites with little pieces of splashes of color to kind of accent. So I'll either take a color picture and kind of like convert it, or black and white and like add color.
Oh man.
Also thinking of doing some more IRL where it's like painting on top of on my photos, um, just to give it some texture. I'm thinking of that as well as a something else to
That's awesome.
produce. So yeah.
I really like the gold trim, and I love this little animated logo. So that's the Moto Simba, right? Is your business or?
Yeah, yeah. That's the production house logo, and I use that because I was afraid of the right click copy thing. So I put the GIF. So everything that I put up is a GIF. So if you do purchase something, you know you're getting the legitimate piece. If you see there's a spinning or a moving logo in the bottom.
Oh,
So I have
cool.
two. It's either the lion head or the tape heads, which are the three skeletons of the tape head.
Yeah, yeah. So what inspired the lion head? I really I dig the lion symbolism. And how long have you been kind of working with Moto Simba? Has that been your business kind of throughout your DJ career and all that?
Yeah, it's been pretty much from the start. The name has gone through a few. The look of it's gone through the lion's gone through a few different looks, but it's always been that name.
Mm,
What inspired it was my birth sign. I'm kind of on the cusp of Virgo and Leo, so
okay,
Leo, lion. So that's where that came from.
nice, awesome. And this Havana picture, did you take this picture?
Yes.
Oh man, I've never been to Cuba yet, and I'm a sucker for cityscape photography. I love some good urban sprawl photos, and this is just awesome, man. It's really
If you
really
go to
cool.
Cuba, you're gonna be blown away with some of the cityscapes and the architecture there that you'll see.
No doubt. It's
You'll be
like stepping
snapping.
in a
You'll be
time
snapping
machine,
like
isn't
crazy.
it? This all looks like it's like from the
Exactly,
50s or something.
exactly that. It's exactly that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Very cool. I love the photography and then the nature as well. Those are my two favorite things. Architecture and nature, man. And then you got this really cool path to freedom. Dope, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like
Thanks.
it. I'm a big fan of the Tezos community as well. I think it gets slept on, but I have a healthy and growing Tezos art collection, and I make no apologies. I really love
Yeah.
it,
It is nice.
and I think
There's
it's going
some
to
good
be around
artists
to
on there
stay.
for sure.
So on that point, what do you think, as a fellow Web3 native, as someone who is clearly in it for the long haul, where do you see Web3 kind of going over the next 1 to 3 years? Not from a market, how valuable is ETH kind of thing, but really like technology wise, adoption wise, how are you seeing the trends moving as we wind down here?
Well, I want to say that I want to see more people adopt it, but at the same time, there's got a lot of there's a lot of FUD right now, so if you can get kind of over that, and I'm hoping by doing projects like the Creative Hearts project and doing kind of the onboarding of the people who are doing that, it kind of changes that because we need to kind of grow the community. So I want to say that I see the community growing. I see a lot of use for the metaverse happening, and different uses happening, and people kind of really leveraging that area of the technology because the engagement and how it brings us together
Yeah.
and allows us to have communication in kind of a safe way. So I really think that's really going to be where we see a lot of the growth happening.
Wow. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think as the social impacts become more obvious, that'll happen as well. And heaven forbid, some kind of catastrophe like COVID or whatever scenario that really kind of forces us to be more remote again, unfortunately. I really hope that doesn't happen. But I do think, some situation where people just don't want to be leaving as much may also push things forward. So I think that there's a lot of weird kind of geopolitical trends right now. I hope that we can avoid the worst of it. But I do
Hmm.
think that blockchain and Web3 and this creator economy that creates opportunities through nothing more than the internet and whatever digital tools you have at your disposal is going to become more and more relied upon, especially also with the whole AI taking our jobs kind of hysteria, right? And when you talk about FUD, that's the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and that's definitely part of it. But I think FUD in the traditional systems is growing as well, right? And that's
Yes,
the reality
absolutely.
is people have less and less trust in the kind of old traditional financial systems, I think. So my hope is things will continue to trend in this direction.
Yeah, I think so because they're starting to see groups develop where they're actually kind of I don't want to say like a help desk, but kind of like a help, like someone to call when you have issues. So some of these groups are starting to develop, which is good, which is a good
Yeah,
thing. So people can start feeling a bit safer and knowing there's someone that they can call if they're having issues and stuff like that, versus just kind of being left in the dark. So
for sure. And then
I
the
think that's another thing that will
cost
develop.
concerns continue to come down as well, right? With the layer 2 options, and then there's Solana, there's Tezos, there's all these like relatively inexpensive or low gas, zero gas options as well. But what do you think about Ethereum specifically? You know, there's some people still thinking that the gas limitations are going to really prevent its scalability. How do you see Ethereum evolving?
Mm, well, there's some upgrades that are coming that was been discussed in the community. So it'd be good to see how those impact Ethereum. I think they would help adding different features and allowing people different ways to use the protocol. I think it's going to be growing, but also it'll be in competition with some of these other cryptos that we'll be able to use as like general purpose cryptos. So to see how it all plays out, kind of
Yeah.
in the years to come.
The advantage I always give Ethereum right now is the whole metaverse conversation. Like, I really don't see any other blockchain providing the layer of ownership and really, you know, expanding this kind of digital space into the metaverse the way that Ethereum is. And I say that as somebody who wanted to see Solana do it because I kind of understood the arguments they were making as far as speed, as far as, you know, supporting Rust and having better connectivity with the Unreal Engine. So I was really looking
Hmm.
forward to seeing some Solana metaverses, but they really haven't materialized. Meanwhile, you know, Sandbox is trying to launch. You got Decentraland still doing its thing. Of course, Voxels is probably the most impressive to me just because it's so accessible and so easy for everyone to use. And they have their free space option, which is super cool. You can just create a space for free. So
Yeah.
voxels.com is on Ethereum. Yeah, so I really think that's where Ethereum's kind of killing the game right now. And a lot
Hmm.
of people don't notice it. You know, the average crypto bro, like the real degens out there, outside of those that are kind of from the gaming or NFT space, don't
Hmm.
really mess with their metaverse. They don't see the exciting kind of opportunities that are happening there. So yeah,
Yeah. With regards to the metaverse, I'm kind of really focused in on spatial, and with
yeah,
them, of course, you can log in with the email, but they offer you the integrations. So I'm kind of seeing where there's Ethereum, but there's some other options there. So I feel that's kind of interesting. I do see Ethereum being the main player though, and we're going to be doing our token gating on Ethereum. I mean, it's the main protocol I think right now, and de facto standard.
no doubt, no doubt. Yeah,
I
and
would say.
spatial is definitely really dope. I don't know if it's quite as accessible as Voxels is. I think you need a little bit better computer. And can you jump into spatial on your phone? I think you can, but it's a little glitchy,
Well,
maybe.
you can you
Yeah,
can.
it works out. It
I
works well
haven't
on your
had any
phone.
issues. Oh yeah, yeah. To be totally honest, the reason why I went to spatial first is because on the phone I kept getting kicked out of voxels.
Hmm.
So I thought, okay, I need to upgrade my phone or something. So
Interesting.
upgraded my phone, and so voxels works now for me because I upgraded my phone. And but before that, it was all spatial. I had no issues with getting kicked out of spatial, so
Weird.
that's why I kind of
Interesting. Well,
that's
I
why I
know.
kind of went there.
Yeah, voxels does have a little bit of a heavier demand on the system because it is a full kind of universe, right? Or, you know, each one is a
Mhm.
big plot of land where there's multiple plots, whereas spatial, I guess, is keeping you to their kind of like metaverse space that you get, right?
Mhm.
And so it's a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
different, but
yeah.
you can hop from different space to different space, so it's not that different, except if you're a real gamer nerd like me and you just like running around at all different lots. But yeah,
Yeah.
so just yeah,
I think it'll be cool. I've seen some. It seems like Voxels has done an upgrade too on the way they they present, like the way it looks. Looks like they've
right,
done
yeah,
some
they're
upgrades.
trying to make it
It
a
looks
little
a
bit
little
more
smoother.
comparable to Sandbox. I think Sandbox got that high
Mm,
fidelity voxels.
okay. Yeah, I have some voxel stuff. I need to kind of build up my character in there, my avatar, I should say, in there.
Yeah,
but I've gotten some stuff from people in the community. So
Yeah, I think the voxels
uh,
graphics are just the most practical right now, honestly. I get why people want to have the top immersion and make it look as realistic as possible, but ultimately, I mean, you got to get where people are right now, and a lot of people can't jump into those super immersive, high fidelity metaverse spaces. So, yeah, it's a work in progress, I think. Things will become more and more immersive as we evolve, you know?
hmm
Cool, man. Well,
absolutely.
thank you so much. It's been a really awesome conversation. Final question I just always like to ask, what do you say to kind of the skeptics out there? It sounds like everybody you've spoken to for your project specifically sees the value in it. So that's amazing. You haven't had to fight any headwinds or anything. But in general, are you hearing much skepticism? Do you pay attention to it? Are you having to convince maybe family or friends to go the NFT route and support your project by buying one of these keys for $50 or however much
Yeah,
ETH that will be? Yeah, how do you
yeah.
kind of navigate that conversation?
Well, to be honest, I haven't had to like I've gotten my family members on it already into crypto. They all
Nice.
have wallets. So yeah, it's been pretty smooth on that way. Just with some of my, I guess, friends more so than family. Some of them looking at it as a Ponzi scheme and something like that. But
Mm,
I just kind of giggle and say, I said okay. And I just kind of keep moving. I don't really want to argue with them. I think that they'll see the value when it's for them to see the value of it. I'm just kind of looking more towards the younger um, generations and educating them because it's going to be more of them going to be using this technology anyways, I guess, as things get developed. So,
that's what's up. Future generations, I think they see the value in the digital space more so than a lot of us. And yeah, I agree. So we just got to keep our heads down, kind of keep building, focusing on the value of the technology. And when you have a project like this that is successful, and to your point earlier that you mentioned as well, it's as successful as the community makes it. So I definitely want to, help you push this. Let us know when it's live on Thursday. We'll go out there, retweet, push. Everyone's going to visit securemountward.com. Try to get that NFT or support in any way you can. So really excited for you, man. Congratulations. It's a really ambitious and well thought out project. And I wish you all the best of luck.
thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for everyone who pulled up. And yeah, I appreciate David for allowing us to speak about
Cool.
the project today.
Appreciate you. Did you have any final words you want to add about anything else you're working on or share?
Oh, man. Let's go. 2023 is winning year. Let's just go. Let's keep
Let's
going.
go. Let's get it. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And thank you again, Kush Nubia. And we'll be paying attention on Thursday when the project officially launches. That's the Creative Hearts
Thank you,
Project.
sir.
All right. All right. Thank you, everybody. Till then, next time, I will catch you in the metaverse. Peace out.